the second week of school, or kind of like the third and a half. We started on a Thursday, so now it's Monday. It's the third week, and tomorrow we have back to school night. And so this video is going to be me sharing about how I got ready to back to school night, what are some things that I set up in my classroom, and yes, and all that fun stuff. We have our wall all set up, and I think you guys saw this already. So here now that we've added, the students told me together what the expectations are, and we'll add to this as things come up, as things happen. Here we have our class as a family, and here there's a lovely picture of all of them, but they all signed their names to kind of share what kind of community we want. So these are more like expectations. So they listen to each other, they have calm bodies, they're positive, and so that was nice. And this book kind of lives here, Nuestra Clases Una Familia, to remind us of the expectations that we set together. And this is always rotating depending on what we're doing. In Spanish, they had a reading about tiburones, and then as well as this is just like a fun Spanish read aloud that I really recommend. And then if you look over, our learning goals are growing. We still haven't really started curriculum, but I did peek a little bit into our math. So right now our math goals, and math is always going to be English day and then a Spanish day. So we had a Spanish day, so our goal is there. I want to come up with some basic launching unit ideas there, and then let me show you what I have over here. This one is perfect because it doesn't have a name, a picture yet. So right here, they all made a little like banner about themselves, all their favorite things. They drew a picture, and then I actually printed it and I put it here. I'm not going to show you my students, obviously, but it's really nice because I could see all their cute little faces as well. So then come over here. Our library is set. This is one of my favorite things I've done. So my coworker gave me this idea. We went through and we talked about how do we organize books in a library by genre, by this, by that, by topic, by fiction, by nonfiction, and they actually designed these. So I thought it was so cute because they took ownership and now they live here. I laminate them just so they would last, but I thought their drawings came out super cute, and it's just gonna be a great way that they see themselves in the library, as well as my Spanish one is coming along, and they were able to do that. So I love that little touch I put. Here they wrote about their summer vacation, and we went through the writing process. It was our first little writing process that they did, and they wrote about their summer vacation. And some of their parents even sent me pictures of them on their summer vacation. So I'm going to put the picture right here, right next to it, and I think it's just a really nice way to take ownership, that they can show exactly what they did summer vacation, and they get really excited, of course, to show those pictures. And then finally over here, I added a few more posters just throughout the room. Over here, we have our math wall, and for math, I actually did my life and numbers, which I thought was a really nice activity. They just put their name, and they put different numbers that are important to them, the time they go to bed, when their birthday is, how many states they've gone to. And then over here, I actually had them put up counting collections, which was nice. And then I added a picture of when they counted those objects and how they organized them. So without showing you the students' faces, you can see how they put them in groups of 10, as well as over here, I think they also did groups of 10, and then one multiplication they did to get there. So then they had 9 groups of 10, and then they added 1 because they had a leftover, and that's how they got to their answer. So that helps them start that conceptualization of times. Sorry, let me continue showing you. I got cut off because someone walked into my room and I wanted to obviously be polite. But yes, I was finishing showing you the counting collections, which I put up. I was really happy with. And then on the other side, not much else has happened really, but let me show you what I have. So still coming together here. We have not touched social studies yet, but I actually did a first Fun Friday lesson for science. I need to keep this end so it doesn't fly off. But this is going to be our science board. I'm going to make a poster of our unit name and vocab words as we grab them. But they did these, and they got to choose watercolor or color. They came out a little interesting, I will say, but I'm really happy. They did their best, and then it's in Spanish, so they put their first idea on how animals change and why, and then filled in the birthdays, as you can see. So that's basically what we've done. I'm gonna finish it getting ready. So for back to school night, of course, we have our sign in for parents to sign in. I'm also gonna have these math goals, reading goals for the year, as well as I ready goals. So I'm going to just talk about already. We're going to talk about how we want to see growth in each of them. And then I'm going to talk about goal setting. And I'm just going to really push them to, talk with their children at home about what kind of goals we could set for ourselves. Where do we see ourselves growing in? That's kind of just like an optional thing, but I thought it'd be awesome to review with them as well as I touch on that with the kids. So now I actually have a meeting with the district that starts at 4:30 and it's around like 3:50. I'm gonna run to the store because I want to make cookies. I am that teacher. I like to go a little extra like that. I want to make some cookies for parents and for students who come. So I'm gonna make around 40 cookies just so I can have like two, 3-ish each. So I'm gonna run and do that. And so I need to buy the things for the cookies, run home, pick up a few more pictures that my students sent in, and then I go home and I get on the meeting. But while I'm in the meeting, and I'm going to get paid, which is very nice, but while I'm in this meeting, I'm going to work in some of this stuff on the background. So I'll check in with you maybe later today and show you my slides. If not tomorrow, which is back to school night. I feel like I'll be busy through the day, but maybe I'll check in after school, before it starts, or after. So I'll check in a little. Okay, bye. Hello, so it's the day of back to school night and I just finished a PD. So I had a meeting until 3 and back to school night doesn't start till 5:30. So I have about, let me see the time actually, it's 3:30 now. So I have about like a little bit of time. I think I'm gonna go grab a coffee, go home and change. I roll red because it's Union Day, gotta support teacher rights. I think a lot of the things that are happening around the country is very important to just bring light to. So all the teachers will red today. That is our union color. But let me show you what I'm doing for back to school night. I'm really happy with how everything is looking. I think I'm pretty settled. So I'm going to go home, get a little snack, get a little coffee, and then come back and do it. So the first, let me show you the classroom. It looks very similar than how I last saw you. I had the students, we launched our science unit with a little fun Friday, and this is kind of our unit question. ¿Cómo es que los organismos obtienen sus rasgos? And then they got to draw little whoops, and it was very fun. They did watercolor, and then they put their first theories about why animals become like what they are. How do they obtain their traits? So that is now done for my science wall. Social studies we haven't launched, but that's okay. It'll be living there for when we do launch it. This is my back to school slide. Moving on, I give them a little bit of information about me. Meet the teacher. This is who I am. This is what I do, where I live, where I study, and have my little picture. I think I'll just show you here. It's a little bit easier. And then from there, I just put a picture I love teaching your wonderfully bright scholars. I really do love my job. So I share that with them. I share them my beliefs about teaching. All students are capable. I do hold them to very high expectations. Growth mindset, efforts leads to that success. Bilingualism is a strength, using that bridge, using what you know in both languages to support you. The transition to third, how it's very different from second. The first year is state testing. They really have to think more independently, more they really have to think more abstractly. It's less construct, so this is very nice to let parents know. Importance of attendance, we just want to make sure they have great attendance as well. Our class schedule and the school-wide rules, and then I show them the example of classmates so they can see what their sons and daughters have made. How I go through logical consequences with them, some examples of how that might look in my classroom. Star student is something my school does, so every Monday we have a star student, so I just let them know what that looks like. Reading, what key things that they'll be doing in reading, their student will be doing that is different from second grade. And then this is our first unit. We use the curriculum called Sikiele, Wind in the Willows, so they'll be reading that. Then math, these are kind of all the important topics that we touch on in math. And then this is kind of our curriculum that we use, illustrative math. These are all the units we're going to cover this year. And we talk a little bit about Espanol and how the proficiency levels, it's like an upside down calendar. The levels will become bigger and wider, but it takes time to go up the levels. And there are 5 major levels. And so on the report card, it'll be a level instead of a number grade. And that's why it's important to teach both Spanish language development and Spanish language arts. So, because it takes time for both them to learn the context of the language as well as how to use it in science, in social studies, and mathematics. But this is kind of the expectations for this child at the end of third. These are the units that we do, estudios sociales. El primero va a ser comunidades de California y para las ciencias también. El primero es herencias y rasgos. And we use Amplify Science and just letting parents know about that. This is the grading policy, school-wide, district-wide, so I just always share that with them, an easy way to see it visually. Homework policy, this year we're not really doing regular-based homework. It's more project-based. We want it to be a partnership. We have a really involved school, so I really think this can happen. I also input just things like make sure to stay informed. Homework might also be incomplete work if your child's not finishing, and also always recommend 20 minutes of reading. We'll be sending math section practice questions and the checkpoints assessment so they can kind of compare and see if they believe the child does need that extra practice, as well as if in some instances I might need to, give them that additional practice, then I'll send it home with them. Then testing, school-wide, we have unit assessments in their CKLA and IM, writing assignments, reading comprehension tests, and then district-wide, we have SBAC and then iReady. And so these are the ones that they'll be seeing from me, maybe weekly to like bi-weekly. And then here are our ready testing. It's our district testing that we do, and I just give them information on that, as well as SBAC, so state testing that they need to do. Lunch procedures, volunteers asking for, and then just my contact info. I share how I do my newsletter, so I always send a monthly newsletter with reminders and things for parents as well. I asked them to join Class Dojo. I think Class Dojo is one of the best things, very easy to communicate with parents. And I share with them my donations wish list, and I'll share with you guys. If you guys want to donate to my Amazon wish list, that would be great, but that is kind of like the end. I'm actually going to add like a big thank you. I showed you, I added their pictures there with their writing, the Spanish writing. There's their writing about summer with their little picture to match. And let me actually just leave this a little neater before I go. I think that looks a lot better. So there we go. It's all set for back to school night. And as well as over here, let me show you the back of the room. I added some things, and this reminds me I need to put away those books that someone just dropped off. So good thing I was talking with you. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to show you, so I set up my español. These are the units that es lo que estamos haciendo en la fonética, y ahorita estamos trabajando en sílabas abiertas y enfocados en los vocales, y luego mirando cuántas sílabas hay en una palabra, cuáles son las sílabas abiertas. Y luego también en matemáticas estamos trabajando en el conocimiento de la multiplicación, y aquí tenemos nuestro vocabulario. La primera sección es sobre gráfica y cómo tener datos. Y luego aquí we have our English board. So our first one is on classic tales. The reading Wind in the Willows, or I'm reading it, it's oral listening. So I'm going to write down the title here with them tomorrow, and that was the vocab we introduced today. This is what I'm sharing with parents for back to school night. So of course we have our sign-in. I made these little brochures that I'm really happy with how they came out. So it just says welcome back to school. And then inside it just has, information, read through, the supplies that they need, policies about toys, and all those things. And Amazon wish list just to get parents to know the schedule, so it's very handy dandy. Info as well. Feel free to reach out to me. And then just online resources they can use. So I think it's just going to be something nice and handy for parents to have. These are the third grade ELA and math goals for Common Core. So I thought it was just handy for parents to see that. This I'm going to ask parents if they would like one. It's just to make goals with their student. They know their students best. How can we be better? Maybe they can spend a moment or two writing goal, a math goal, mindset goal, and a language goal, and a personal goal with their student, with their son or daughter, of course. And yes, over here is just my little extra thing. Gluten-free chocolate chip cookies and almond flour brownies that I made. I put all the ingredients list just to make sure there was no allergies and everyone enjoyed it. So Yes, I've already met most, if not all of my parents, so I think it's just going to be more of like a formal like sit down, really give them the information of what's happening, but I'm excited. I think it'll be a chance to have them in the classroom, have the students, if they come, also show off their work and things like that. But I'll see you in a little bit. Maybe I'll check in before, show you my outfit that I end up wearing, and yes, I hope everyone has a great back to school again once I'm back in my classroom. Okay. Hello, so I have about an hour till back to school night starts, a little less actually, but I got myself a little coffee. I went home, had a little bit of like a snack before dinner at night, and I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I saw some of my students outside. They came running up to me and they were like, I'm excited, we're going to see you soon, and their parents are going to be here. So I am always someone who gets a little nervous. I think it's very normal as someone who is younger and works in a profession where parents, look for you for advice and look for you for guidance. But I'm excited. I think it'll be a great meeting point with some parents, continuation of how their students are doing, what to expect of the grade, and yeah, so I'll check in with you after. Hello, just wanted to close out the back to school video, and I wanted to share that everything went amazing. Parents were here, they really enjoyed it. I got most of my parents in, which was really nice. Got to share them about what we're doing this year. Students were so happy to be here. Everyone loved the cookies and brownies, which is really nice. And I'm really happy with how everything went. For all my teachers out there, especially my young teachers, I know it could be a little scary to do back to school night, in front of parents, but always trust in yourself. You are the teacher. This is what you've studied. You're going to do great. So I just wanted to come in and say goodbye. Have a nice day.